Welcome to Red-Handed Crimes channel. Don't forget to subscribe. The storm that night was merciless. Thunder rumbled across the small town of Ashford, and the rain poured in thick sheets, drowning out the sound of anything else. But behind the relentless downpour, something far more sinister was unfolding. It was October 17, 2004, when Margaret Holloway vanished without a trace. A devoted mother, a loving wife, and a dedicated schoolteacher, Margaret was the kind of person no one expected to disappear. She left for work one morning and was never seen again. Her car was found abandoned on a desolate road just outside town, the driver's side door slightly ajar, the engine still running. Inside, her purse lay undisturbed, her phone resting on the passenger seat. There were no signs of a struggle, no footprints in the mud, no blood, just an empty car and a million unanswered questions. For weeks, the town was consumed with the mystery. Police conducted exhaustive searches, volunteers scoured the woods and fields, and news outlets ran endless reports. Margaret's husband, Daniel, pleaded for her safe return on television, his voice cracking with emotion. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, hope began to wither. Some speculated she had run away, others whispered of foul play. Eventually, the case grew cold, joining the countless other unsolved disappearances that left only heartache in their wake. 20 years later, in 2024, the Holloway home still stood, abandoned and forgotten, its windows broken and the roof caving in. The once vibrant house was now a ghostly relic of its past, a shell of memories long buried. When the city council finally approved the demolition of the property, a team of contractors was sent to clear it out. That's when they found it. Tucked inside the walls, behind the faded floral wallpaper, was a small leather-bound diary. The pages were yellowed with time, the ink slightly smudged, but the words were still legible. The name on the inside cover sent shivers down the spine of everyone who saw it: Margaret Holloway. The diary was quickly turned over to authorities, and within days, it was all over the news. Had Margaret left behind the answers to the mystery that had haunted the town for 2 decades? As investigators pored over the entries, a disturbing picture began to emerge. Margaret had documented months of paranoia leading up to her disappearance. She wrote about feeling watched, of anonymous phone calls where the only sound on the other end was breathing. She spoke of waking up in the middle of the night to find the front door unlocked when she was certain she had locked it. And then, there was a name. A name that appeared repeatedly, always laced with fear: he knows. Margaret never revealed exactly who he was. But as investigators followed the trail of her final days, they uncovered something chilling. Just a week before she vanished, Margaret had reported a break-in that police had dismissed as nothing: a tipped-over lamp, an open window, but nothing stolen. Now, in the context of her diary, it seemed far more sinister. The last entry was dated October 16, 2004, the night before she disappeared. It read, "I can't keep pretending everything is fine. He's been in the house. He left a note on my pillow: tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen. If something happens to me, tell Daniel I love him. Tell my son I'm sorry." The town of Ashford was shaken to its core. Who was he? Had Margaret been stalked, kidnapped, or worse? And why had this diary remained hidden all these years? With renewed urgency, investigators reopened the case, this time with fresh eyes. They re-examined old suspects, including Daniel, who had since moved away and remarried. They combed through the records of dismissed leads. And then, one crucial detail surfaced: a man who had worked as a handyman for the Holloways, a man who had left town the very week Margaret vanished. When police tracked him down in another state, they found something horrifying in his possession: a rusted key to the Holloway home, and inside his basement, a box filled with newspaper clippings about Margaret's disappearance. The case was no longer cold. Justice, it seemed, had been waiting for the right moment to strike. As the truth finally came to light, the town mourned Margaret all over again. But this time, there was closure. Her diary had spoken from beyond the grave, giving her a voice after 20 years of silence. And though justice had taken far too long, it had finally arrived. Yet, even as the case was closed, one question lingered: had the diary been meant to be found? Or had something, or someone, ensured that its discovery would shake the town to its core, just as Margaret's disappearance once had? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.